Welcome to the Easy Odds Premier League videocast. Now, the man, the legend, Paul Jacobs can't make it today because he's in America actually, but I'm here to help out.
Surprised he got in?
So, yeah, I have no idea how he got in. But yeah, I'm here to help out. I'll do my best with the man. It's not me anyway. I'm not the man. It's this man here, Ross Casey. He's been on absolutely unbelievable form recently.
It's gone well in recent weeks, thanks to Jake. As has our Football League tips, which will be on site also, so make sure that you check that out, because 2 weeks ago we hit an absolutely incredible sevenfold for 1,075 to 1, which is even hard just to say. So I'm not sure how we managed to tip it, but that just shows the sort of quality of our free tips. That's the important thing to emphasise, that all these tips are free on site on easyodds.com, and they all have the best possible price thanks to our odds comparison service. So what's the first game?
Yeah, let's get down to business. Newcastle versus Arsenal is the first game we're going to look at today. I mean, Newcastle got a great draw at Old Trafford last week. So
absolutely, yeah.
Let's see, what do you reckon they're going to get on this
Well,
one?
here's my tip for this one, guys and girls. I've actually gone for a pretty short price here, which is a pretty unheard of thing for me. I'm usually an odds against man, but I'm going to go for Newcastle in the handicap market with a +2 start on Arsenal. They actually have a pretty terrible record against Arsenal, unfortunately, for Magpies fans. They've actually lost the last 7 in a row against Arsenal, so that's the reason that I'm not going to back them at 11-2, which for a home team in a Premier League match is absolutely a huge price. But I don't think that's really worth it, because they are just pretty awful against Arsenal, unfortunately. Now, the Gunners are now unbeaten in 9. However, in only 4 of those 11 matches where they haven't won, have Arsenal actually won by more than 1 goal. So I think that backing Newcastle in the handicap market with +2 is a pretty decent bet, because Arsenal, even though they've been making a lot of chances, they haven't been putting them away. 5% is their conversion rate.
That's awful.
This season, which is
That's
absolutely
really,
terrible.
really, really
so it could be the possibility that maybe Theo Walcott starts, just as I've taken him out of my fantasy team.
Yeah. When I started him and I thought he was going to do the business for me, and he absolutely got about 2 points.
After an excellent pre-season, for whatever reason, Arsene Wenger has just chosen to not play him. But why would you back Newcastle in the handicap market? Other reasons: they're unbeaten in 4 at St James's Park now. They, as Jake alluded to at the start of this, they kept a clean sheet at Old Trafford with a pretty stout defensive display. I'd say that Man Utd only really got in behind once, and that was a Javier Hernandez chance, and Tim Krul made an excellent save. And other than the set pieces, I think they kept them at bay really well. So I think with a +2 backing them, this means that if Arsenal win by 1 goal, then we still win our bet. So even an Arsenal win, we could still win our bet here. And at 1-2, that's a pretty good price. But if you are going to try and look elsewhere, my other tip here is actually Giroud to score, even though I'm saying that his conversion rate has been really bad. He's actually got a very good record against Newcastle. Listen to this stat: he's scored 8 goals in his last 6 games against Newcastle, which is pretty impressive, and he's available at 13-10 to score at any time.
That's good. 1-2 is good though. Stick that in an accumulator.
Absolutely.
Be on your way. Anyway, next game, we're going to White Hart Lane for Spurs against Everton. Spurs have had an indifferent start to the season.
Absolutely.
Not going well at all, really. Everton been going all right. Obviously, they lost 2-0 against City, but I mean, City are flying at the moment. They're going to be anyone 2-0.
Absolutely. Well, let's have a look at this match now then. Tottenham versus Everton. I have to admit, I think Tottenham have got far too much emphasis on Harry Kane. They have brought in NG. I'm not too sure that he'll start this match actually for £10 million. I'm not entirely sure that he'll start, but Harry Kane this season has only managed 2 shots on target. And if you're one player who's in the team to score goals, because let's face it, Tottenham have got a midfield of creators and not really goal scorers in there. And if you're not managing to score goals with the man at the top of the field, then you're going to be struggling to score goals, and that's why they haven't won a game yet, which is pretty surprising for many Spurs fans. So I actually think that Everton to win here at 15-4, almost 4-1, is actually a very good price. Even though they let in 3 goals against Barnsley, they had a bit of a makeshift team there with Joel in goal, who I don't really rate at all. Howard will be back here, Seamus Coleman will be back, Gareth Barry will be back, James McCarthy will be back, all players that can help out defensively. I'm not entirely sure if they're going to play John Stones after he was pretty shaky last night against Barnsley.
Yeah.
He didn't seem like he was at the races, so I'm not entirely sure what will happen there because they don't really have many centre-back options. But away from home, Everton play at a far better pace because when they're trying to break teams down at home, they're quite ponderous on the ball, and the likes of Barkley get a bit lost because he needs the ball into feet, fast pace, give and go. Lukaku, Kone, players like that to play at a faster pace than they do at home, and this match will actually suit them. Away from home, they've actually scored 10 goals in their last 5. If you add, that's just in Premier League. If you add in the League Cup as well, it's now 13 goals in 6. That proves that their counter-attacking style away from home works far better than it does at home. So I think Everton to win at a whopping price of 15-4 is my best bet then.
Yeah, it's a great bet. Barkley's been playing well though, hasn't he? Since
Barkley has been playing well,
especially this season compared to last year. I mean,
yeah, he had a poor season last season.
I think he was good against City actually.
Yeah, he's had a good season in all the games that I've seen him in, and I certainly expect him to be in the England squad announced later.
Hopefully. Anyway, next game up, we're going for Southampton versus Norwich. Southampton looked really good, and then lost to Everton. Pella, what's happening with him?
What is happening with him?
Put him in my fantasy team as well, and he let me down. But anyway, what do you reckon about this game?
Okay, so for Norwich against Southampton at St Mary's, I'm actually going to go for Norwich in the draw no bet market. Norwich away from home are absolutely brilliant. Listen to this stat, guys. If you're a Norwich fan and you haven't been going to away games, why have you not been going? Because you have not lost any of your last 15 away matches. 15, that is absolutely brilliant. And they carried that on in the Premier League by beating Sunderland. And what is the reason that I'm not fancying Southampton? It's that pesky old thing of the Europa League. It seems to be any team that plays in the Europa League, it's a huge distraction for their Premier League campaigns. Both of the matches that have followed on their Europa League matches so far this season for Southampton, they've drawn, so they failed to win any of the matches after the Europa League. So I think odds of evens on backing Southampton to win is far worse value than backing Norwich in the draw no bet market at 2-1. If Norwich win, then we'll more than double our money. If it's a draw, then we'll get our stake back. So I think that's pretty good stuff there. So that's my reasoning, and I think that Norwich will get something out of the game.
Last 15 games.
Incredible.
That's absolutely incredible. You're right. Yeah, Europa League is something like teams are going to start to not want to go now, aren't they? I mean, it's obvious like that is kind of at the back of their minds, but it's just actually really a hindrance to see what with Everton last season.
Well, it was pretty clear that Slaven Bilic didn't want West Ham to be in the Europa League after he played a team of 18 and 20-year-olds in the second leg. But yeah, so let's move on to the next game, which is
Swansea versus the mighty Manchester United at home. So what do you reckon is going to go on there then?
Well, you've got two teams that have got a lot of attacking talent on the field. You've got the Swansea front three of Montero, Gomes and Ayew, which has looked really lively.
Yeah, Gomes has looked excellent this season.
You've got Manchester United, who have got Depay and the reinvigorated Wayne Rooney, who, after months and months of us saying that he won't do it, proved us all wrong by scoring a hat-trick in midweek. But what am I actually going for here? I'm going to go for a 0-0 score as a correct score at half-time. Because I actually think that this is going to be a fairly nervy affair, and the reason being, Man United are yet to actually concede a goal in the Premier League, and Swansea get to concede at home. So I think that both teams defensively are looking pretty sound. So 0-0 at half-time at 17-10, I think is a pretty good price there. I think that for the first 45 minutes, both teams will try and figure each other out and perhaps have a bit of a sparring session rather than going for the throat in this one. And the one interesting thing that I have to say about this game tactically is Montero against Darmian. Darmian is a right back that plays almost as a right winger. He bombs almost past Juan Mata, who's not really an out-and-out winger. So he actually is the person that has the width, and it's coming from defence. But against Swansea, he's up against Montero, who just is the one player in the Premier League seemingly who is a winger, and he says, I'm a winger, I'm going to stick to the touchline, and he offers width for 90 minutes of the game. He never tucks in, he stays out wide, he gets the ball, he beats his man, or he cuts in and shoots.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a really interesting thing, because Darmian if he's exposed, could really struggle there.
Big battle.
Big battle. So I think 0-0, half-time correct score 17-10 is the best bet there. So it's 17-10, 0-0, half-time between Swansea and Man United. 2-1, Norwich draw no bet against Southampton. Everton to win at 15-4, which is a huge price, probably the biggest bet of the weekend. And Newcastle +2 handicap at 1-2, which is almost even money.
Yeah.
So that's my 4 tips for this weekend. Thanks for joining me, Jake.
Yeah, no worries.
And we'll be back next week, possibly with Paul Jacobs if he's allowed back into the game.